Good morning, fellow Canal rats, and welcome to another edition of Saturday Mornings Outdoors. My name is Paul K, and we are out here on this muggy, greasy-looking morning, trying to catch striped bass on the beautiful, famous, world-class Cape Cod Canal. And it feels good to be out there this morning for the early morning bite. Stay tuned, please, and come along and we'll see what we can discover here today on the Cape Cod Canal. We'll let you know. And the conditions for this morning, as usual, we're working on middle to end of an east tide, my favorite. Gonna flip to west probably within a couple hours, and Mac chunks on the bottom, spinning gear, Van Stahl, and conventional gear is the Penn Fathom. And temperature this morning is kind of summer-like. I would say it's pretty much summer. 82 degrees right now. It's pretty daggone early. And barometric pressure is, we're supposed to have a hole in the clouds basically. It's raining all week, as it has been for the past 5 weeks or so, I think. Strange. It's alright, tomatoes like it. Barometric pressure is 29.98 and steady, I guess. Wind is from the south, as it usually is this time of year. And it's almost calm right now at 5 miles per hour. The moon phase is coming up a little past half moon, so tide would be normalized. Let's see if we can get some of the famous striped bass that come out of the Cape Cod Canal. Let you know. That's the sound of a fish hawk. There he is right there. Right at the very tip. Look at that. All right. That is cool. Welcome back. That's a good omen too. Fish hawk means there's food around. And look at this bad boy coming down the Mississippi. Very interesting. I don't see a tugboat, which means this is one of the more experienced skippers or a local guy, because this thing's a monster. And apparently vessels that aren't familiar with the area require, I guess, one up front and one in back. And unless there's one really hiding back there in the back, this guy's just piloting on his own. Pretty impressive. I can't imagine what the pay these guys must make to skip of that thing. Jeez. Incredibly huge. No wake. And this would be a work vessel. And the skipper would be skipperizing from the tower up there. Oh, no, there is a tugboat. Generally on one this big though, there's one in front and or there's one behind, and they just keep on communications with each other. But as this ship passes, you'll notice that there's a slot built into these massive, basically barges, work utility vessels. And the tugboat fits right into it, and apparently gives them turn on a dime steering basically. See how right in here it fits right into the back. There's all bumpers in there, and there's bumpers on the front of the tugboat, and that's how they push it along. A lot of horsepower. The propellers are probably bigger than my car. common occurrence in the Cape Cod Canal. Cool stuff. So there's a lot of floating seaweed in the water this week, and whenever you see that, generally means there was heavy wave action either on the Buzzards Bay side or the Cape Cod side, and it kind of just gets pushed through the canal. The weeds get ripped up by the waves, and then it's a little messy and sloppy. Once the tide really starts cranking, it kind of cleans it right out. But meanwhile, you'll have more gunk on your line, and that doesn't really occur that often. A lot in the fall because there's more weather in the fall, and more storms and stuff that churn the bottom. And that, by the way, that action changes the contour of the beaches everywhere in the world. Just the waves. It's hydraulic where the tidal zone, where the sand meets the water at the beach, right? The high and low tide mark, it's literally hydraulic. It's water and sand mix. And when those waves come bashing in our fall, the big storms, nor'easter, it's time to get the surfboards out. No, that's when we do surf. But that action just every year changes everything. You had a great killer bar that you were fishing on all summer long, and it's just gone. And it can be gone in like an hour, depending upon the power of the storms, because when you get like 15-foot swells coming in, 15 feet, imagine that. And that's measured from the back, not the front. That's how that's measured. It just hollows out stuff that was there in an hour. And so it's dynamic and fluid. And so that's, the changing conditions in the water, and you really learn a lot being, I've been surfing since I was a kid and in the water and near the ocean, and you really giantly pick up so much of this stuff that's so subtle, but it's very important when it comes to fishing and understanding about fishing, and yet I know nothing compared to what there is to know out here. You know what I mean? You're always learning. You're always learning. Very beautiful, fantastic place. I know. Shut up and catch fish. All right, I will then. This is a small one, I think, by the way it's biting. If it's even on there. Might just be a crab. Nothing. Without killing myself. So properly baiting, showed you 1,000 times, I'll show you again with the circle hooks. So you want to leave as much of that gap exposed as possible. They don't know what the hook is. They have no clue. They just zero in on that, and that scent is drifting down current, and it attracts them, and they take it. And my experience with these hooks is about 99.5% of the time they get them on the side. It hooks them right where it should, on the side of the mouth. And I've never gut hooked one yet. I hear that guys do, but I've never gut hooked one. And also the main complaint about it is a lot of times the hook doesn't catch. Not a lot, but I would say 1 or 2 out of 10 times the hook won't catch. It just pulls out. You'll get the hit, but the hook doesn't catch. But other than that, greatest invention for preserving the species for sure. All right, guys, so while that other guy's out fishing, I gotta explain something to you. Last week I was telling you about how important preparing that bait is, and when you're in a hurry, you're tearing that skin. So I figure it's definitely a worthwhile point for me to show you just how well this works, and it's a simple idea. I would recommend just don't do this when your old lady's home because she just won't understand. So anyway, we got our frozen rock solid mackerel here, and this is the butcher knife I was talking about, and let me just demonstrate. Yep, there you go. All right, and I didn't miss on one. They're perfect. It's worth it, man. It takes 5 minutes, and actually you're more beneficial because when you're in a rush at the canal or anywhere on the ocean, you know, you're ripping this stuff up, and stuff ain't getting cheaper. Not that it's super expensive, but anyway, stick it back on the freezer, and then when you're ready to go, just grab it and go, and throw it in your cooler. I wouldn't recommend it with the old lady around, though. Don't let her know. So, of course, sharp blade, and when it's still frozen, it's absolutely perfect. Look at that. I mean, the cuts, and the bait is this important. It's important to have pretty much perfect bait, but I mean, this is what you're looking for, those perfect slices, you know, nice sharp knife, heavy knife, and just put your weight into it, and every chunk comes out really good. So that's all I wanted to say. It's extremely important, man, because without that bait on the line, you ain't converting that bait to fish. So let's get back and see what that other guy's doing. I don't know. They don't get how cool bait is. What's wrong with them? Fish on. Schoolie. That's clean fish. And it's about 23 inches. I'll let him go. And let this guy go. These rocks are treacherous, and that's just part of the canal, but that's what you got to deal with. On this high tide, it's up all that way. It doesn't leave you much room to navigate. It's just pure steep. It's part of the canal. Just get used to it. Suck it up. The stripers are worth it. And so I'd like to say, I know a lot of guys that are beginners, have never caught a striper before, and they're interested, and maybe you're tuned in here to see how it's done and all. And you may notice he keeps mentioning these subtle little things. It doesn't seem like they're important, like how to cut the bait or how to hook the bait. But all the subtle little things add up. So you have to tie your knots right. You have to choose the right equipment. You have to. I'm trying to relate to you what it took me a ton of time to learn, condensed down into, so that you can catch your first striper. And even guys that just want to catch bigger fish or a lot more fish. And these subtle little things are not subtle. They really matter if you hook the bait wrong, it's not going to stay on there. If you cut the bait wrong, it's not going to stay on there. If you use the wrong equipment, you're not going to land the fish, or your knots are not going to stay tied. So that's why I keep reiterating on the stuff that may seem subtle and unimportant, but they are all very important. And I just want you guys to catch fish, man. It's much more fun out here than it is online. Put the phone down, get out here and get fishing. And that's the point of this channel. And that's what I'm trying to bring to you guys, especially the young kids, the young guys. And that's why I keep bringing up the small stuff. It's not small stuff. So catch fish. Well, the boat traffic's really picking up. And this is a tug proper. You got one in front and one in back. And this is how they normally do it. It's a massive crane here on this work ship. Utility ship. A powerful looking tug, ain't it? Straight laced. And the guy in the back ain't doing nothing. It looks like the tug up front is towing the barge and the tug in back. But no, the tug in back ain't doing nothing. It does look like he's getting towed. Huh. Interesting. Slacker. Hey Joe, quit slacking off back there. Well, the fog is burned off and the boat traffic's really picking up. I'm getting low on bait and the seagulls are trying to poop on me, so I can take a message. And I want to thank you guys for showing up again this week. I hope you had a little fun. And I think that if you get your fishing rod and gear and come down here, you too can do what I'm doing, and you'll enjoy the day. Thank you very much for watching. I'd appreciate it if you subscribe and like. Hit those buttons down below in this direction, and we'll see you next week. Same rat time, same rat channel, and we'll swing it again. Thank you very much for watching, folks.